Happy Wednesday. Hopefully everyone's having a glorious Wednesday. It's a nice sunny day, and I got words that rain might be heading my way this weekend, which is really awesome. It's gonna suck for ACL Festival, but I'm pretty sure some people will love the mudslide that rain brings. I think it's a dust bowl right now. Go figure, hasn't it rained in a month? And the grass is probably dry. You got all those thousands of people walking all over it. It's pretty amazing how quickly that stuff turns into the Dust Bowl. But that is not what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about fentanyl. It's, it's killing them by a lot. Now, I have quite a few stories pulled up, but I'm not going to read all the stories, or all of the story, because it's a lot to go through. So I'm probably going to be on the live edit to go between the stories. So the claim is on this one that fentanyl is the leading cause of death among adults. Of course, it's far according to, let's see here, the CDC collects data revealing the leading causes of death in the U.S. in 2020. The leading cause of death among all American adults were heart disease, cancer, and COVID-19. Provisional data for 2021 indicates the same health issues have continued to be the leading cause of death. Far more people die from cancer, heart disease, and COVID compared to fentanyl overdose, said Scott Walters, a professor of behavioral health in University of North Texas Health Science Center of Fort Worth. Walters has been instrumental work in designing to address opioid crisis in hard-hit communities in several states. In 2020, more than 56,000 people ages 18 and older died in synthetic opioid-related incidents, according to the data made available through the CDC online moratorium or the mortality database. In 2021, nearly 70,000 people 18 and older died from synthetic opioid-related incidents. On whether fentanyl overdose is the leading cause of death for the ages of 18 to 45 age range, the CDC spokesperson neither affirmed or denied the statistics. Fentanyl related deaths are coded as synthetic opioid related deaths. Fentanyl comprises approximately 90% of all synthetic opioids categories, the CDC says. The spokesperson says accidental unintentional injuries was the leading cause of death in ages of 18 and 45 in the group of 2021. If one were to break down the unintentional injury category to make the drug category rankable, the leading cause for people ages of 18 to 45 would be unintentional drug overdose to synthetic opioids. That number would exceed the second highest leading cause of death, suicide, in 2020 and COVID-19 in 2021. In the email to Political Facts Texas, the CDC spokesperson says if one assumes that other synthetic narcotics category for those 18 to 45 is 90% fentanyl, then one can argue the unintentional fentanyl overdoses is likely the leading cause for that age. However, because we don't have the exact numbers of fentanyl deaths for that age category, we cannot say for certain that this is accurate. Whether or not it's accurate or not, for what is actually reported, it's a crap ton of deaths. And that's from this story right here. Let's see here. Another one from the Statesman. Hays County Sheriff Office to develop an outreach education program around opiate crisis. At least 10 fentanyl-related deaths, including 4 Hays School District students, have been reported in Hays County since July, according to Hays County Sheriff Office, putting law enforcement officials, educators, and local leaders on high alert. The Hays School District in September launched a public service announcements and series of educational videos to increase awareness and educate students, staff, and families about the fentanyl crisis. On Tuesday, Hays County Sheriff Office joined the push to expand the outreach education around opioid crisis because the increase of overdoses and poisoning happening in middle school and high school. Keep in mind, this is not happening in college. This is happening in your kid's school. This is something that needs to be addressed. Hays County Commissioner Court on Tuesday approved up to $20,000 for Sheriff's Office to create a program for educational materials about crisis, including developing a program similar to Shattered Dreams, a school-based initiative designed to educate students, parents, and the community about the dangers of underage drinking and driving, and forming a peer-to-peer focus groups. Due to the ever-changing narcotic landscapes, the Sheriff's Office anticipates the systemic opioid crisis will not only continue, it will grow. Sheriff Gary Cutler said in a written proposal to the commissioners, drug enforcement agencies and other federal partners are warning that local law enforcement agencies about stronger opioids being seized throughout the country. Let's see, an increase in opioids and fentanyl-related overdoses has recently plagued the country. The police blame the increase of drugs being smuggled through the southern border. Fentanyl is a synthetic opiate that, when given to a pharmaceutical context, it's used to treat severe pain, but when it's sold on a black market, because of the effects it mimics on those of heroin, although the synthetic substance is much more powerful, it can be found as a pill, powder patch, solid, or liquid, and it can be lethal even in tiny doses, authorities have said. Hays County is the latest area of central Texas to experience an increase in fentanyl-related overdose. In May, Travis County declared an opioid overdose a public health crisis. Travis County is one of the top 5 counties in the state for opiate-related emergency calls. Desmer Wackus, Austin Travis County Health Authority, previously said that occurring largely because fentanyl-laced counterfeit pills, she said. And Kyle Police Chief Jeff Barnett said police since January have responded to at least 16 related overdoses, in which 7 resulted in deaths. Many of these overdoses, including some deaths, involve teenagers ranging from 14 to 18 years old. And I really can't fault the parents. The parents could do everything right. The parents could be supportive. They could be engaged. They could be helicopter parents. But when you're at school, outside of parent supervision, that's when they're going to get the drugs. They can either get it from online or they get it from a dealer that got it from online. And they may be the most friendly person, the person that you least expected, giving these drugs to your kids. And it could be a current student who's just trying to make some extra scratch. The easy way. The next thing you know, you're sending your daughter to rehab and your whole world gets shattered. And that's not something I want on anybody. On anybody. And since last May, all 3 Hays District High School, Hays, Johnson, and Lehman, have had students experience life-threatening fentanyl overdoses on campus or at home that did not result in death. San Marcos Hays County EMS Deputy Chief Jim Swisher and Barnett said August that the pills are being sold to kids through social media and other phone apps. The seller will often use code words, and the drugs can take many forms, including candy-like substances. Another story from Austin American Statesman. This was written October 5th. Let's see here. This was written October 12th, today. I'm pretty sure this was written a few months back. No, October the 2nd. I mean, this is really good reporting for the American Statesman. I'm just being honest. Round Rock School District has launched an awareness campaign warning students and parents of dangers of fentanyl and providing resources for anonymous reporting. Starting last week, the district began displaying information on the dangers of fentanyl on digital monitors throughout its secondary campuses. The district also created a website with more information about the drug and resources for help and reporting. That must be what the website is. That QR code. in case you want to search for it. It says one pill can kill, the risk is real. The campaign followed recent deaths of 4 Hayes School District students who authorities suspect have died from fentanyl overdose since July. And it goes on to rehashing it, raising awareness. A letter sent to the community superintendent Hatef Azadi encouraged parents to learn about and communicate the dangers of drugs with their children. District officials says they're not aware of any fentanyl overdoses in the district, but know that the drug is present in its schools and teen population. We love our children. We want to keep them safe from the danger they may face. I can't pronounce your name, man. I know it's like A-Z Azad. So I'm just going to call you AZ. In the letter, thank you for your partnership in protecting every student in Round Rock ISD. Let's work together to keep this insidious threat from taking another life. And I would add, to protect our future. Because kids are our future. Jenny Capino, a spokesperson for the district, said that they're working to ensure parents and students are aware of the issues and have the ability to report any concerns. We're really hoping that the students recognize how dangerous fentanyl is. Caputo said if they know some of their friends might be putting themselves at risk and would use our anonymous reporting systems, not to get someone in trouble, but to make sure that we're keeping kids safe. But this is any time to be a snitch, is now. This drug is dangerous. It's not regulated. Caputo said that the district hopes to hold a panel to discuss with experts to provide the community with opportunities to learn more about fentanyl and have any of their concerns answered. Additionally, the district has counseling and social workers that provide counseling and resources for any students using drugs, alcohol, or students with behavioral needs. Nurses and police officers in secondary campuses are also equipped with Narcan. This is the substance that you use when you're going overdose, so you don't die. The brand name of Naloxone, a potential life-saving medicine designed to help to reverse the effects of an opiate overdose in minutes. We have communicated to the extent that we can. We just hope it raises awareness. Once again, the screenshot for when I take that to save lives for anonymous reporting. Get involved in your kids. Get involved. Now, this is probably going to be a little bit longer one, but I don't care. Texas man convicted in drug-related death of Fort Hood soldier. Even soldiers are not immune. I know. I was in the military. I was at Fort Hood. I know Fort Hood has a drug problem. It's easy money. Just like anybody else, soldiers need to release stress, and sometimes they do it through drinking. Sometimes they do it with recreational drugs. Sometimes they have an addiction because of the PST that they suffered. An investigation led by the Department of Army Criminal Investigation Division, CID, resulted in the arrest of a conviction man for selling fentanyl. Agents from the SID Central Texas office, working with Bell County, Texas Organized Crime Unit, and Killeen, Texas Police Department, conducted an undercover operation that were able to gather significant evidence against a known local drug dealer and a member of the criminal street gang, Zytrell Horton, to convict and sentence him up to 20 years in federal prison custody for distributing fentanyl. I even think that is a light sentence. I think it should be the death penalty. Your drugs are killing people, so death penalty for you. The dead do not repeat. Special Agent in charge, Maria Thomas, says that the case shows CID, along with other law enforcement partners, is dedicated to bringing justice to those that harm the public and members of the Department of the Army and also other armed forces, I would add. Through the distribution of fentanyl, SID remains committed to protecting the force and the public from the scourge of fentanyl epidemic. It's a scourge. It's a poison. In April 2022, a soldier stationed at Fort Hood was found deceased in his on-post quarters. Preliminary investigation by the Army SID suggested the drug overdose. Upon closer examination, it found that the soldier ingested counterfeit Percocet tablets that contain fentanyl. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid drug that is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. The Army said is charged with the investigation felony level offenses that the U.S. Army interests keeping illegal drugs out of the Army's formation and keeping soldiers, civilians, and family members safe is the utmost importance. SID has done so through the employment of highly trained special agents. Support, yeah. You're just patting yourself on your back now. I get it. All that stuff is important. I am glad this drug dealer is off the street. No sympathy for him. Then, of course, we got three more. This is what? Missouri? Not Moser, but Missouri, Eastern District. Three more faces charged in teen fentanyl overdose deaths in General County. Like I said, this isn't just a Texas-led thing. This is in every state. Every state. St. Louis, three more people have been indicted in connection with the fentanyl overdose of a 19-year-old in Jefferson County, Missouri, including those accused of supplying the man who gave drugs to the victim. So arrests are being made. I don't know what they're going to be charged with. I'm just highlighting this. Motion seeking Litter and Wilson be held in jail until trial. They supplied Martin with fentanyl on multiple occasions, including fentanyl that killed the teen. Their distribution of fentanyl presents a lethal threat to those purchasing drugs. The motion said Wilson had a firearm on July 11th when law enforcement arrived at her home and was using drugs. The motion said drugs were also being prepared for sale at her home. The motion said both were also caught after their arrest with more suspected fentanyl hidden on their persons, according to court document statements. Wilson failed to tell the deputy U.S. Marshal after arrest about the drugs, which were found at a federal courthouse. Suspects' narcotics were found on later prior to his entry into jail. Overdose deaths are tragic consequences of someone's greed and lack of regard for human life, the special agent in charge, Michael A. Davis, the head of the DIA in St. Louis Division. With drug overdose to death at a historic highs, the DA will work relentless to destroy the criminal network pouring dangerous drugs into our community so they could no longer cause harm to our families. I agree with that statement. This isn't your weed that you buy. This isn't the hash, or what do you want to call it. Let's see here. According to NPR, the rainbow fentanyl a threat to your kids this Halloween? Experts say no. I mean, I've just shown you three articles up here. This one dealing with schools. This one dealing with the school. This one dealing with the school. This one dealing with Fort Hood. This one dealing with a 19-year-old teen. You think he just started at 19? Now you want to tell me the experts say no? They don't care who they sell it to. As long as they make some bucks off of it, get a profit, buy some more pills, sell that for a profit, buy more pills. You think they care? The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration is raising terrifying alarm recent weeks. According to the DA, bright colored fentanyl pills are designed to hook children and have been spotted in nearly 24 states. The DA says they identify and deliberate the new marketing scheme by Mexican cartels and street dealers who want the pills to look like candy to children and young people. It looks like candy, the DA administration, Annie Milgram told in NBC News. In fact, some of the drug traffickers have nicknamed it Sweet Tarts Skittles. The DA alert did not mention Halloween, but the fears about rainbow fentanyl and holiday went viral. Just because they didn't say it doesn't mean that's not a threat. I'm just saying, I mean, you're trusting your neighborhood or strangers in your neighborhood to follow that unwritten trust rule. Do you trust your neighbors? Do you trust anybody in your neighborhood to not do something like this? From my understanding, this stuff is pretty cheap. I mean, it's enough to make a profit, but people get it easily. It's cheap enough because it's synthetic, so it costs less to make. Who's to say you don't have that crazy person that wants to be a joker and just wants to see the world burn? Interview on Fox News, Milgram was asked whether the parents should be worried about the candy gathered by kids in trick or treating. We have not seen any connection to Halloween, Milgram said, because Halloween hasn't happened. Drug policy experts contacted by NPR agreed that there's no new fentanyl threat this Halloween. There's always a threat. Many are also skeptical that the DEA original warning they do not believe Mexican drug cartels and street dealers have launched any new campaign targeting children. But I just showed you 3 stories from the American Statesman. They're not the right-wing conspiracy theory. They're a liberal rag. They used to be called the American Spaceman for a reason. I don't see any evidence that the DA has produced that supports that contra, said Nabora Daskba, a researcher studying illegal drugs at the University of North Carolina. Daskba lab tests illegally manufactured opioid pills collected from across the United States. Says color pills like the ones highlighted in the DA warning on the streets, but that is nothing new. We get them almost on a daily basis. We see pink ones, purple ones, yellow ones, green ones, red ones, aqua fuchsias. It's a pretty wide palette. Blue is a predominant color, but it's not surprising to see any of these. Indeed, street drug experts contacted by NPR says traffickers have long used bright colors for their products for reasons that have nothing to do with children. Why would dealers market fentanyl to young children? Drug experts contacted question whether traffickers who are driven by profit would focus on kids. They say selling fentanyl pills deliberately to children would be incredibly risky. The drug is potent and deadly, and the legal penalties for dealing drugs to kids are severe. They also know that selling to really young kids might be drawn in to the pills that look like candy or sidewalk chalk would be bad for business. They might be doing it because it's easier to transport over the border. Maybe the Border Patrol will see, oh, that's just Mexican candy, and not even give it a second thought. I kind of gear towards that, but it's something to be cautious about. Let's see, Attorney General Bonnie announces the seizure of millions of fentanyl pills, almost 1,000 pounds of fentanyl powder since April 2021. I don't know when this was posted. Oh, this was posted today. California Attorney General Rob Bonner today provided an update on the California Department of Justice DOJ ongoing work to address fentanyl crisis, including seizures of over 4 million fentanyl pills, almost 90 pounds of fentanyl powder, and over 200 arrests through the DOJ Bureau of Investigations to work with allied task forces throughout California. Since April 2021, the DOJ continues this work through the Fentanyl Enforcement Program, a statewide enforcement initiative designed to detect, deter, to disrupt, and dismantle criminal fentanyl operation and prevent fentanyl from reaching California neighborhoods and communities. In addition to the on-ground work, Attorney General Bonner continues to an all approach by advancing effective public policy and working with national partners to hold opioid industry accountable. But if it's counterfeit, then how are you going to hold them accountable? For their role in creating an opioid crisis and its impact, to date, the California Department of Justice has secured over $32 billion through nationwide settlements, including $2 billion for California, bringing the needed funding back to the community for treatments to prevent prevention strategies. All I gotta say is year 2022. If you go to your doctor and they prescribe you opioids after knowing what you know about them, that's kind of on you. Sometimes you gotta take personal responsibility. I also hold the doctors responsible for this. They played their role into it because you just can't go to a drugstore and buy it. You have to go see a doctor. They write your prescription, and then you get it from the pharmaceutical department of a Walgreens or Walmart. That is my show. Like I said, fentanyl is killing by a lot. It may not be the leading cause, but it's getting up there. It's something to take serious. And unfortunately, I don't think Biden administration is taking this serious because he's has a open door policy with Mexico right now. And while all of our resources are being tied up to processing illegal immigrants, whatever that means, they cannot be there on the border to make sure that they can intercept a lot of the drug smuggling that's happening. So leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are. And if you want to, please smash the like and subscribe button on any all platforms. But most importantly, get involved in your kids' lives. Hug them every day. Warn them about the real dangers of fentanyl. Tell them to just say no to fentanyl. Tell them don't trust any pills that you get from their friends because you don't know if it's lace. And that's all I have.